Have you ever felt so stressed out because of indecision? You have too many decisions to make and you don't know which one is the right one? Well, don't worry, I'm here. I got you. I'm going to share some of my top tools and strategies to go through so you can make that decision with zero stress and confidence. Let's transform together. This is a very common topic that I talk and coach about. But for some reason, this week I had three back to back people that were so confused, out of their minds because they were stressed out, too many decisions, or different job opportunities, and they didn't know how to proceed. And they were all in their head. So, this is what I want to share with you because decision making doesn't have to be stressful. And I want to give you some tactical things, tactical procedures, tactical strategies, tools, however you want to call it, so that way you can reduce the stress and really be confident on yourself and the decision that you're making. And for those of you who are new to this channel, my name is Jenny Lopez. Welcome. And I'm here to empower you to be your most authentic self, your best authentic self, because that's whenever you do your best work, you have your best impact, you can love and lead at your best and have the best life. And now let's get back to the tools and strategies. But before I share the top five, let me share with you a pretty cool maybe mindset hack that or mindset shift that you can take whenever this happens. Because many times when people reach out to me because of indecision and how stressed out they are, it's because they're in their head and they're focusing on the bad, on everything about, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I make the right decision. What if I don't make the right decision? What will people say? What will my family say? Da da da. Da. And it keeps going on and on and on. When in fact, if they step out, if you step out and think about, oh goodness, I have options. Yay, me. See how you're approaching now in a more positive mindset and in a little bit more clarity that you are guiding the situation. Many good things are happening to you and for you. And now you get to explore them and make the best decision for you in this moment with the information you have. And the reason I go to that level of detail is because there's no such thing as the perfect decision, but there is such thing as taking the best decision for you at the moment, at the place where you're at with the information you have. And this is what I want to share with you. Let's go to the strategies now. Number one, this one actually I learned it from my amazing mentor, Tony Robbins. And it's always to have at least three options. Never get stuck in the dilemma of having two options. I do it or I don't do it because that's going to cause a lot of stress. Always force yourself to get three or four options so that way you can really critically, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but you know what I mean, really think through them and make the right decision for you. Now you're probably thinking, Jenny, that makes no sense because in my situation, it's either I stay in my job or I go to a new one. Let's just hypothetically, I am getting very fancy today, even though I'm not pronouncing those words correctly. But in that situation, in that example, that's it. But always think about maybe a third option. In that third option is that there may be now that you are looking for a third option, another job opportunity outside of your workforce, outside of this new opportunity, so that way you have different options to evaluate. Again, if you narrow it to only two options, you get stuck in that dilemma. Do I do it or I don't do it? So just a little bit of a tip. All right. So instead of sharing the example of the client that I'm working with right now, one of them, I want to share you a personal example because I recently left the corporate world after being there for 23 years. And I was in that situation. Do I stay or do I go? Should I stay or should I go? That. See, I get distracted too easily. Anyway, those were originally my options. But again, I learned that two options is a dilemma. So I started exploring a third option. Okay, what about I look for a role at another place that maybe can continue to help me continue to grow and for me professionally and personally. So I was exploring actually more than two options as I was making that decision. Now, if you want to learn more about my whole thought process on that specific example, make sure you write in the comments because I have so much to share. But I'm going to go back on topic now. Number two, be very objective in your decision process. Don't get just the emotions, get the best out of yourself. So at this point, make sure that you get your options And then think about what are the things that matter to you the most? What are the aspects? For example, it could be opportunity for growth. In the example that you're evaluating different role opportunities, obviously apply this for your specific example. It could be the culture, it could be work life integration, it could be location. There's so many things, right? In terms of what matters to you. Don't get just honed in one thing. For example, some people make the mistake to say option A, B, C. C is the highest salary. I'm going to go there because honestly, in my opinion, sometimes there is not that much money that I can earn if I'm not going to be in an area that I'm respected, if I'm going to be in a culture that is going to diminish my value, if I'm not going to have the work and life integration that I need. So, this is why make sure that you understand what are the things, the aspects that a role has to have for you to thrive that matter to you the most. Think about it professionally and also personally. And then you're going to be rating those areas, those aspects against each of these opportunities that you have, and then you see how they rank. Low, medium, high, score it however it makes you feel comfortable that at least you can understand which role is ahead of the others because of these aspects that matter to you the most. Número tres, there is no such thing as the perfect decision or the perfect opportunity. Everything that you're evaluating is going to have the pros and the cons, the things that are yay and the things that are not so bueno. So once you identify that role opportunity or that opportunity that you said, clearly this one is the winner, then what I want you to do now is to optimize the good things, the yay, the happy face, and then design to minimize the boo, the sad face, the things that were not as good. Okay, I'll give you an example. One of my clients was going through different work possibilities, opportunities, which is amazing. And a particular one would have taken her away from the area that is she's really passionate about, and she wants to become a thought leader in that area in the future, even internally and externally to the company. And I always said, so that's a downside. So how would you minimize the downsides of choosing this opportunity that is taking you away from that? Again, this is just when she was going through the selection process. An opportunity could be, hey, how can you internally look for opportunities that build that innovation muscle that you have that can continue to grow you in the innovation space? Externally, how can you be more intentional in LinkedIn and in the things that you share, in the articles that you write, in the podcast that perhaps you could be a guest, in how you slowly but surely continue to work intentionally in your brand? That's just an example. So now you get it. Make sure that you optimize the yays and then design to minimize the not so bueno things associated with your selection. All right, número cuatro, and this one I learned from one of my coaches, and it's the whole heart versus gut, like that gut feeling that you have. And it's that both of them need to be in alignment whenever you make a decision. And I'll go back to my example of considering leaving the corporate world because I was considering it last year. And I remember he said, Jenny, what does your heart says? And I say, it's time. I am so excited about this new opportunity and going after my mission. And then he said, what does your gut says? And immediately, I kept telling him all the things, the bad things that could happen. Obviously my mindset was not there. I had a lot of fear. I had too many things and worries and concerns that my heart and my gut were not aligning. Now, a year forward, he asked me the same question, and I knew for sure that both my heart and my gut were aligned. And I was so ready to make that decision, and I made that decision. And número cinco, by now, let's say, for example, you already considered the things that matter to you the most. You evaluated all your options, you optimized your wins, you designed for the not so bueno things, and then your heart and your gut are aligned. And then there is that little nagging vocecita, and that little voice that says, oh, what will people say? And this and that, and worries about things that you cannot control. But guess what you can control? Your voice, your narrative. And if you're very confident, because at this point, after you've done all these different tools and strategies, you're confident of your decision, but you're still worried about what will people say. You control your narrative, you control your voice, and that's what matters. And I'll give you another personal example because that's what I'm here. I share the good, the bad, and the ugly so we can both learn and grow together. After being in STEM, in a STEM career, think about engineering, automation, innovation, product development, all of that good stuff. I made the bold decision of going to HR, another career transition for me. Now, you know what? I thought people were going to say, "What? You're an engineer? What are you doing in HR?" And not only, sometimes people say, "Hey, that's just in your head." No, I actually had people telling me in my face, "But HR, why are you going there? You're an engineer. You should be in a more complicated role, in a more this and that role," kind of minimizing the impact that HR has. And I could be very, I don't know if weak is the right word, but unsure, not confident, and so worried about people will say that minimize myself, being all enrolled in their argument and perhaps not even say yes because people were going to think that I'm not as strong, etc., for an engineer role, which is not true at all. In fact, I was so excited about HR because finally I knew I was going to be in a role that had massive, massive impact for the whole global enterprise because of the role that I actually ended up getting. Now that's super exciting. And there's nobody that can tell me the opposite that that was the wrong decision. Because honestly, my career was my school to take me to where I got as an executive leader, to now have the opportunity to learn a new area of the enterprise and have an amazing impact on everybody in the company and people that wanted to come to the company. Voila. What an amazing career. I control the narrative, nobody else. I'm just sharing an example on how you can do the same. All right, let's summarize everything, the five strategies and tools that I just shared with you when you are making decisions between different opportunities. Number one is don't get stuck in the dilemma of only having two options. Do I do it or I don't do it? Make sure you have more than two so you explore everything. And maybe there are options that you in your mind think, there is no way I will go and do that or that will happen. But at least it sparked a little bit of creativity on perhaps even a fourth option. So just trust me, make sure that you have more than two. After that, we talked about making sure that you have a list of the aspects and the things that matter to you, nobody else, you the most. And then you're going to line them up and then compare them with all the different opportunities that you're evaluating and see how they correlate in a good way or in a not so good way. That takes you to number three. So now, once you know who's the winner of all your options that you're exploring, then you want to optimize the good things, the happy face, and then you want to make sure that you design and minimize any kind of bad thing associated with that choice that you have. Because remember, there is no such thing as the perfect decision. Yay. And then the last one, well, actually, I have two more. Make sure that your heart and your gut are aligned. And then the last one was to make sure that you control your narrative. It's your decision, it's your life, it's your impact that you have in this world. And if I haven't said enough in this video, remember there's no such thing as a perfect decision. And this is why life is all an evolution, it's a journey. You're always going to continue to grow forward. And then you're going to take a decision. It's going to be amazing. You're going to learn from it. And either you're going to continue to your next goal or next opportunity, or you're going to pivot because you learned that perhaps that wasn't the right thing for you at the moment. You pivot and do something different. But you will always, always learn out of every opportunity. So there is no such thing as the perfect or the only correct answer or opportunity for you. And then one more thing I want to say, because I've seen this so many times. When you are looking, for example, for roles or opportunities, don't let FOMO, the fear of missing out, control that, because sometimes focus is what you need to really grow and take it to the next step versus trying to like go into all the next shiny toy and then you go everywhere, but you get stuck in the same place. So think about that when you're making the decision. And the last one, make sure that you're not running away from something and you're running with excitement towards that new thing. Okay? Very, very important. I learned it the hard way, and that's why I'm sharing with you. All right. Well, please let me know if this is something that helped you. Tell me which one was the best tool, the one that helped you the most. Let me know in the comments and make sure you subscribe because that way we continue to grow here and grow stronger together. And I'll see you on the next video. Make sure you follow. Make sure that you follow, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share this with your community because that's the magic of all of us learning from each other, elevating each other, and growing stronger together. Until then, remember to be the best you because that's whenever you do your best work.